What if I told you that one simple decision you make today could completely change another person's day? And they might never even tell you? Not money, not success, not intelligence, compassion. We live in a world where everyone seems to be one bad comment away from an argument. People are stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, and carrying battles we know absolutely nothing about. Yet somehow we've convinced ourselves that being right is more important than being kind. But what if compassion isn't just a nice idea? What if it's actually the glue holding humanity together? Let's talk about it. Compassion has become strangely underrated. It's almost like kale at a backyard barbecue. Nobody gets excited when it shows up, but somehow we'd probably be healthier if we paid more attention to it. Instead, we've become experts at assuming the worst. Someone cuts us off in traffic? They're selfish. Someone doesn't return our text? They don't care. Someone seems short with us? They must be rude. Maybe. Or maybe they're carrying something heavy that we'll never see. Here's something I've learned over the years. Every person you meet is fighting a battle that isn't written on their forehead. That's why compassion matters. Not because people always deserve it, but because they always need it. I remember standing in a grocery store when someone abruptly cut in front of me. For a split second, I felt that familiar urge to get irritated. You know the feeling. The internal speech begins, "Seriously, you think you're more important than everyone else?" Instead, I simply smiled and let them go ahead. A few moments later, they apologized. They explained they'd just received terrible news, and their mind was somewhere else entirely. That tiny moment reminded me of something I'll never forget. Sometimes, the kindest thing we can do is refuse to write someone else's story before we've heard it. Compassion doesn't always change the other person. Sometimes it changes us. It softens our assumptions. It lowers our blood pressure. It reminds us that winning an argument isn't nearly as satisfying as preserving our character. Because here's the truth. Anyone can be kind when life is going well. The real test of character is whether you can choose kindness when someone makes it difficult. That's where compassion stops being a feeling and becomes a decision. If these videos encourage you to become a little more positive, a little more patient, and a little more intentional every day, would you do me a quick favor? Take a second to subscribe and turn on notifications. I share new videos designed to help you live with more purpose, more hope, and more positivity. And I'd love to have you as part of this community. Now let's get back to it. So, here's a question worth asking yourself today. Are you building bridges or burning them? Because every conversation leaves something behind. Every interaction either makes this world feel a little safer or a little colder. Compassion doesn't require wealth. It doesn't require perfection. It doesn't even require agreement. It simply asks us to remember that every human being is carrying an invisible story. The next time you're tempted to snap, pause. Take one extra breath. Offer one little bit of patience. Extend one unexpected act of kindness. You may never know how much that moment meant, but I promise it mattered. Because compassion isn't weakness. It's strength under control. And perhaps it's the strongest force we have for holding humanity together. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. If this message resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who could use a little encouragement. You never know whose day or whose outlook you might change. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. When has someone shown you unexpected compassion that you'll never forget? Until next time, keep choosing kindness, keep believing in people, keep looking for the good. And as always, stay positive and have an amazing day.